right, next up, Lee DeLorenzo, our financial planner of the team, United Asset Strategies. Lee, take it away.
Okay. So I hope this is recording for the benefit of my son Jonathan, who said I wouldn't dare do this. My name is Lee DeLorenzo, and most of you heard me share the first time, but maybe for the few that didn't, I'm not really going to talk about United Asset Strategies as a private wealth manager. I'm going to switch on to my pension 401k hat for today. Because the money that's under management at my firm is about 15 to 20% made up of those ERISA 401k plans. So in the notes, it says that I might be entertaining. So I want to start out with a little bit of conversation that happens at most mid-sized companies that have a 401k plan where the receptionist can't screen out the call too well. So it goes something like this: Mr. Biddlesworth, there's a call on line 1. The gentleman says he's from the Department of Labor. Uh-oh. Okay, I'll pick it up. Hello? Yeah, I've been reading your 5500 online, and I can tell here that you're out of compliance. Your fees are too high, and your fund selection is horrible. So that's how it goes. So if you're a mid-sized firm for about $2 to $3, $4 million under management inside of a 401k, sometimes you don't have a large HR department. The owner's still sort of in charge. Maybe they pushed it down one, and these salespeople get on the phone every August and September. They check out the Department of Labor filings, which are public, and they go through them, and they drop the F word, fiduciary, on top of whoever's listening, and they say your plan's not compliance, your plan's not compliance. You've violated your fiduciary responsibility. And with that said, the idea that a plan has all of these pieces, and the media got hold of the pieces inside of a 401k plan, it's important that at least you're working with a good firm, or you take a few minutes as a business owner or a person who's looking at your own clients, your prospects, that you understand the pieces. So as a money management firm, our job is clear, which is to make sure you have a top performing mutual fund lineup. And this is a real case where they started with 73 mutual funds when I met them. And yeah, sure, take one and pass it around. You have one? No, it's the same. It's the same fund. Yep. So if you take a typical mutual fund lineup for a 401k plan, maybe it has 40 funds. So if you get a plan that has 73, you can be guaranteed that you have some funds that are underperforming. So United Asset Strategies will go through, will analyze which funds aren't being utilized that are bad, and first take them off the plan platform. Then we'll go back slowly if the client really cares about not turning over the apple cart for their staff, and go back year after year saying, all right, we can get rid of 3 or 4 more as we migrate the plan slowly and give the participants who really pay all of the fees nowadays the best experience. So this particular analysis also goes to the point that in the olden days, before the unscrupulous salespeople were calling up saying your fees are too high automatically, or your funds are underperforming automatically, they would use the Morningstar analysis. They would take the mutual funds that were listed online, run them through a screen and go, oh my gosh, half your funds are 3-star or lower out of 5, and they would try to scare you that way. So in this regard, stars matter, but it's not the end of the world. For instance, an index fund usually only gets 3 stars. So how could you get a 5-star? Gold funds, there's maybe one that has a 5-star, everything else is a 2-star. So if you want to have a mutual fund, you need to be working with an expert like United Asset Strategies that knows the truth and knows how to analyze the funds and really just try to calm your clients down or yourself down to go, wait a minute, it's not just all about stars, it's not just all about operating expenses. So in this analysis, this is real. In fact, it is a client of Wagner and Swarman that we'll be going to see in about a week and a half. It's their 3rd year with us. And what makes these guys interesting too is they had gone to Fidelity Direct, and they had no investment advisor. And they had the hard decision of bringing my firm in and making the employees pay my fee, which the participants see coming right out of the account. I really have to earn my money. So I go in, we have one-on-ones, we have email relationships where we actually are giving advice over the internet in writing, really taking on the fiduciary role. So that's that. But the other part, and where we work hard for the client, and I was going to pass this out, but I don't want to make you fall asleep. There's all these players inside of a 401k plan, and I'm just going to name a few of them. The record keeper, the third-party administrator, the custodian, the trust company, and the investment advisor. Those parties are all service providers to the plan. And if you work with United Asset Strategies, we can swap any one of them in and out. We're truly independent. We can change your trust company, we can change your custodian, we can change your record keeper, we can change your TPA, we can even change your investment advisor. We don't insist that you just work with United Asset Strategies as your investment advisor. We can just be the third-party administrator, we can just do this, we can just do that. And in some cases, in a larger plan, where you're being charged as an owner, or your client's being charged as an owner, to do this service provider analysis, which should be done once a year, someone would say, well, I'm the fox in the hen house, how am I gonna make myself look bad? You could just hire a firm like mine to do an analysis for a fee, deliver it to your client, and walk away. I don't have to get the case. I know how to, do a straight up fiduciary job and, charge the proper fee for United. So again, at United Asset Strategies, our wealth of knowledge inside of pension planning, this goes all the way back to the beginning, because my dad, who started the business, in the 80s, he said to me, Lee, someday you're gonna have a baby, and you're gonna wanna work from home. I'm like, okay, Dad, I was 23, I just, thought that was a true story. And he goes, you should start a pension administration company. So I did, along with what we were doing. And we built it up to 250 plans. And with that, we had actuaries and administrators, and we were still selling insurance and managing money. But he was wrong. The pension company got to be a low profit, high liability company. And as things were going and he retired, I wound up selling it. Well, about 10 years later, after my non-compete was over, companies like, Andrews were like, Lee, these third-party administrators, they're like the prevention department of getting anything done. It takes me weeks and months to get my numbers. Do you know anybody? So we were referring the best we could, but we were getting frustrated also. So about 5 years ago, I tiptoed back into the business. We're up to about 50 plans. So besides United Asset, we have United Retirement as a third-party administrator doing the actual calculations and testing, and we don't have an actuary on staff, but we've contracted with a couple, and we have administrators, we provide documents, so we have the breadth of knowledge behind us, and when we walk in as an investment advisor, what's really behind the, under the hood there. So that's my little pitch for United Asset and United Retirement. I do want to just close on the cross-referral nature of this, this networking group. I've never paid to be in a networking group before, so that was just something that was, different for me. And when I like someone, I refer them business, like even before I'm really sure of their services. So I do miss one of the representatives, Ian, from TriNet, but we hired TriNet as a result of this networking group, and so far so good, even though he did move on to another firm. Even in how he handled himself was first class when he left. And we've gone on to continue to cross-refer with Wagner and Zwerman, Ken Longo, Dennis Cusica. We have one case with you, or one. And that relationship, it's me giving out. But now, Lori, are you still on the phone? No, she's probably gone.
Yeah.
Oh, yay! Lori! I think after our first presentation, we talked about how we really get into someone's family and get into their lives, and maybe it hit a button with Lori, because now we just started to work with her mother, and that's a lesson in all the skill sets that we have, but it's a pleasure. So to be able to receive a lead's been very nice, and looking forward to developing that relationship for years to come. But Lori wound up, I started to work with her personally, as I have a home that's under construction and a business suite that's under construction. And I've never felt more comfortable, and we're spending so much time together, I said we're starting to look alike. So that's it. I hope that we'll be able to help you and your clients in this crazy world of 401ks.
Wonderful. Great job. Questions? There's got to be a couple of questions.
Just a couple of comments.
Can I jump in?
Sure. Go ahead. The phone's more powerful.
All right. Seriously, Lee has been amazing with my mom, and it's been a really delicate situation. My dad's really sick, so it's been really hard to get her to trust somebody. And Lee didn't push her. She was right there. She, was going to help her just manage things with her other 6,000 different places that she has everything. But Lee was so good with her, and my mom trusted her so much that it's nice to have things in one place, even though we're still uncovering other places that she's had things. And Lee's been great. So I have been recommending her. I just gave her another referral too, so hopefully that person ends up calling.
Fantastic.
So yeah.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Andrew.
All right, so what was I going to say now? All right. One of the things that we have from our clients who are not doing their retirement with Lee's office is they have their investments with one person, the administration of the retirement plan with another company, and then they have the record keeping with another company, and every time they have an issue, they have to hunt down who's involved. Even proposals, I was working with another company, which ended up going to Lee, but just to get the proposal, the investment person was working on the proposal, but then I found out he wasn't really the retirement person. So then I had questions about the retirement numbers that came up on the proposal, and then I had to go myself to the retirement person because they weren't thinking out of the box, and it was just cumbersome with dealing with 3 or 4 different people. One thing with dealing with Lee's office is you're dealing with one person who has a lot of knowledge and is not just doing investing. So like in this case, the investment guy's like, oh, I don't know, that's a retirement question, I gotta get the retirement guy. Where Lee can answer the question right away. So that's one makes it a little nicer for the clients and the professionals dealing with Lee's office to have one thing on the roof. The other thought is, years ago we had a client, very successful business, and we recommended many years ago a couple of investment retirement people, and they chose to go with the cheaper person. And there were over 100 people, which requires an audit of the financials, and they decided even to go to a cheaper accounting firm. We did all their other accounting and tax work, but they didn't feel like paying for the audit of the 401k what really should pay for. So they went to a retirement specialist and an audit firm, and I said, I don't think that's a great move. Sure enough, 10 years later, the IRS does an audit of the plan, and the plan just blew up. Everything was wrong. They had Excel spreadsheets to do discrimination tests that didn't even foot. Okay, literally didn't add +1 +1, it got 3, for example. So they got into a lot of trouble because they saved a couple $1,000s a year. Now they have a competent pension consultant, and the audit's done by us now, and everything's up where it should be, and so forth. So it just goes that sometimes going with the cheapest person, your friend, your cousin, whoever else, could get you into trouble also. So like Lee used that example with the phone call with the IRS and stuff, they do call and they do audit these plans. There's a high rate of audits on retirement plans. And if you don't have the right organization running it, you can get yourself in trouble.
We have a common client right now that's audit went on for over a year. I don't even know that you know about it, but the big hang up was because they hired a PEO to handle their payroll, and it shows up they have no W-2, so how could you have a pension plan with a tax deduction? And advocating for them and trying to explain the rules and code sections and things. Now we became an expert in that regard, so we would be able to help other people. And now I just did the same thing, so when we get audited,
so, but you were successful in
yes,
telling us
yes,
it's allowed.
Yes,
right.
yep. It took a while, but we got it done. So.
All right.
All right.
Fantastic. Thanks so much. Great job.